The warlock Renault is defeated, and the battle at Hollow Mountain is ended. But at what cost? The war may be over, but now only 3 Lightbringers remain to pick up the pieces. Hey everyone, welcome to Worlds Apart, an RPG show where my friends and I play Dungeons & Dragons and tell an epic story along the way. I'm James Haeck. On my immediate left is Gwyn, and then Hannah and Cedric, my friends here in the Light World party. They'll be playing Astrid, Mara, and Zephyr. And we are going to get started right where they left off, previously on Worlds Apart. Mara, Astrid, Zephyr, you all awoke atop Hollow Mountain and discovered that your friends had been either disappeared and replaced with or transformed into lifelike statues of obsidian, of black glass, trapped, frozen in an expression of fear and pain. Now, you're at the gates of the great metropolis of Oma-Vel, hoping to petition Ashvel Marin, the High Priest of the Six Gods, for aid. On the road from Hollow Mountain to the city, you were waylaid by a group of warriors who belong to a heretical cult known as the Godsworn. You're unsure of what their actual purpose is, what their motives are, but they have harried Zephyr and Saranon for years, ever since the day they first met, and now they seem to have it out for all 6 of you, being surprised to notice only 3 of you were left. So you managed to dispatch them, and their icy elemental companion fled from the battlefield. And now you are here, at the gates of Oma-Vel. The gates are slightly open, people are passing through them. There is a guard who stands above the battlements, gazing disinterestedly down at all of you. What do you do?
We all still look pretty disheveled from that fight.
Yeah, you're pretty beat up. What are your hit points at right now? You haven't had a chance to rest.
31 out of 105.
Looks like I ended at 23 out of 84.
I'm at a little above 30% of my health right now.
Yeah, so you guys are beat up to hell. This is like a Dragon Age conversation where you're just hanging out spattered with blood the whole time. And so because of this, people are giving you kind of strange looks. They're giving you like at least a 10-foot berth as they go about you trying to get into the gates without getting near these blood-covered, ice-rimed warriors.
Yeah. Astrid's not gonna pay a whole lot of mind and just kind of square her shoulders and march into the city.
Yeah.
Can we see where the Star Spire is? I mean, it is the tallest tower in Oma-Vel.
Yeah, the Star Spire is easily visible. Oma-Vel is a city filled with spires, tall towers, and skyscrapers almost. But out of all of them, the Star Spire is the tallest, and it is enwreathed in a golden glow at all hours of the day. It is...
Damn, that's gotta be obnoxious.
Light pollution like hell, yeah.
That's what it said on the...
Tourist brochure?
Well, if those stones are tourist brochures.
Oh, the Prophet Stone?
The light is too damn bright at night.
Oh, yeah, you're
someone
right.
graffitied that into the stone. You're at the southeastern gate of the city, and the Star Spire is at the very far north of its tall sandstone walls. Immediately in front of you is not the gate itself, but actually a 20-foot tall stairway/ramp. Stairway on either end and a ramp in the center for carts and stuff. That ascends, it goes about 50 feet long and then raising about 20 feet over that same distance. Let's see. I think Astrid would be the only one to actually know this. Make a history check for me.
Forget, is Astrid smart? A little. 15, not bad.
15. You know that the city of Oma-Vel has been built and rebuilt many times, and there are parts of the old city underneath the current streets, and so they've kind of raised the gates every couple of decades just to make sure that it, new levels keep occurring.
Mm-hmm. Do you know the best way to get to the Star Spire from here?
Well, I've never been here before. I've only read about it in books.
Oh.
I was trying to get here when I left home, and, stuff happened.
Seems like you did quite well for yourself.
Thank you.
Right then. Is there a ramp leading up onto the ramparts?
Onto the battlements?
Yeah.
Not from this side,
okay.
No. That's a security hazard.
Yeah, I guess that would be.
I mean, I guess if we just make sure the spire's in front of us, we'll get there eventually.
Right. Not used to coming into the city from this side and having all these buildings in my way. So we'll walk in.
All right, you heading through the gates. There is a guard perched atop, and he follows you with his eyes as you walk in. Garrett, you kind of stand out. But no one else is getting harried at the gates. He gives you no trouble either. You step in through the main gates of Oma-Vel, and almost like, it's passing through a threshold, and as soon as you pass through those gates, you are hit by a wave of sound and smells and colors as, the gates are this very dull sandstone. There's some plants and stuff to give it color, but the gates are not at all like the bright flags, colorful market stalls, and frankly, people in outrageous garb that are walking around the streets of Oma-Vel. Every building that you can see is at least 3 stories tall, many even taller, shooting upwards into the sky. It feels, Mara, to you like you're in a canyon. Someone so used to the flat desert plains, this almost feels a little bit claustrophobic. But through these city streets, there is a winding path that you can follow. All the main thoroughfares are about 20 feet wide, and there are maybe 5-foot alleyways ducking between some of these larger buildings.
I would like to keep an eye out for any stalls selling traditional Valashi food because I have missed that and I'm hungry.
Yeah. I was going to say, Astrid's going to sniff the air for something spicy and fried.
Dwarven gumbo wasn't enough for you.
Well, we
got
to
our asses
fight.
kicked.
I guess so.
Also, Astrid's a growing girl.
There are all sorts of scents around here. If you want to follow your nose, make a perception check with disadvantage.
Sniff check.
None of us are tabaxi.
Hey, I rolled 2 16s plus
Hey.
perception, so that's going to be 21.
That's really good. Near the gate you're at, you follow the main street a little bit, and you eventually wind up kind of going through a couple of back alleys, and you find yourself at the edge of what does seem to be a large market. There are a lot of signs around here, basically directing people to different stalls, and they've been, set up for the day, planted in little rows of dirt or hung around the bough of a palm tree, something like that. And this seems to be, judging by the signage, the Castle Highway Market.
Have I ever been to this market before?
It is one of the biggest markets in Oma-Vel. How many times have you been here, and for how long?
Mostly we're at a area outside of the Eastern Gate, but I've probably been here 2 or 3 times in my life.
Outside the Western Gate, right?
Or sorry, outside the Western Gate, yeah, closer
Yeah.
to the desert itself. mostly at a trading post or market near there, but I've been to this market a couple times when we want to sell some bigger things, products, or like smithing or weavings.
Got it. The Castle Highway Market is the place where common people come to sell their goods. The Castle Highway is the big street that leads south out of Oma-Vel. It's right by the palace. And people gather on both sides of the street to sell street food, which is what you followed to get here. There are shops that sell, artisanal knives. There are shops that sell pottery and jewelry and anything that, you would be able to find at a farmer's market here in the real world, basically.
Cool.
You're at the northern edge of it. It continues on for as far as the eye can see, and it's a bustling day here at the market. From here, you can see you have a fairly good vantage point. If you were to continue farther into this market, you would be going in the opposite direction of the Star Spire, but you would be heading right to the grand walls of the Palace of the Consuls.
Well, we could grab some food. Who knows how long it's going to take with the, what do you call it, a bureaucracy at the...
Bureaucracy?
Bureaucracy at the Star Spire.
Yeah, we might be, in line or something.
I hope not.
I hope
Traveled
not.
far enough.
They asked us to come here.
Any stalls with flashy food?
Make an investigation check.
Nat 20.
Beautiful.
You wind your way through the crowded labyrinth of market stalls, and you do come to one place in particular that seems to be being run by one of the Valashi Desert nomads, maybe someone who's left their tribe and come to settle here in the city. And she has this bandana around her head. Her hair is tied up into a knot back here. And she and some other city folk are working very hard to produce food for a lot of people. This is a busy stall. It seems to be one of the more popular ones here.
Greetings.
She looks over and says, "You'll have to get in line, miss."
We'll get in line.
You get in
How
line.
does Mara feel about being called Miss?
Mara feels annoyed that she's not... It's not the miss, it's that she wasn't recognized.
She barely looked up at you.
Yeah,
You say greetings, and she hey, gestured for you, and you wait in line. And you wait for 5 minutes, and 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You grow slowly closer to this stall. Like I said, it's one of the most popular stalls here in the market. That's what I said. And eventually you get there, and all this time you were just stewing in the smell of desert spices, of very strong and spicy smells.
Spicy hot or spicy
Spicy
flavor?
hot.
Okay. Well, after being assailed with that for even just a little bit, Zephyr, I'm gonna go look for food.
Alright, let's meet back here in a few minutes.
Okay. And goes to find something not spicy and more vegetable-y.
You find people selling grilled corn, still in the husk. You find people selling kebabs that are just...
Why does this game always make me hungry?
fried peppers and onions and all that sort of thing.
Most of it's street food, right? So nothing quite as...
You see a lot of what is essentially cooked lamb in pita with yogurt on it. That is really popular everywhere. There are 18 of those stalls in this market. But if you're looking for just purely vegetarian fare, there's a surprisingly low amount of that.
Well, Zeph is definitely interested in that corn and in those shish kebabs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're going to go order... How big are the shish kebabs? How big are the pieces of vegetable on them?
Oh, they're little inch cubes.
Inch cubes. Okay. Gonna
They're
get
about 6 inches long.
2 shish kebabs and then a corn.
Nice.
I kind of have it in my mind that, despite him being, or despite Zephyr being, quite willowy beneath their armor, that they can just eat like a cow.
And you...
Zephyr's also a growing boy. That growing person.
Growing elf.
Yes.
And you hand over a small handful of copper-stripped bills over to them. That's, between all that food, that's probably about 5 copper.
Okay.
You finally make it to the front of the line for your Valashi street food, and...
Mara's stomach gives a big rumble.
You stand probably about a full head taller than the person who is running this stand, and she looks up at you and says, "Hey, what brings you out from the desert? Also, you look terrible. What the hell? Did you get ambushed on the way over here?"
That's not a nice thing to say to somebody.
Listen.
Well, we did get ambushed on the way over here.
She's Valashi. She doesn't care about stuff like that. Lady, you look like crap. What happened?
We fought in a war and then got ambushed on the way here, so yeah, we're pretty hungry.
Well, you came to the right place.
Could I get some of those skewers and honey yogurt? You'll like the honey yogurt.
So, you can handle it. How spicy do you want your food to be, sister?
I'm a tiefling. I want it to taste like hell.
Well, perfect. You'll get it just the same spiciness as she does then. And she goes back and she whips up a whole thing of street food. She actually brings it to you in a little wooden woven basket. And she says, are you going to keep the basket or give it back?
We'll give it back.
Cool. She passes it over. Between the two of you, that's going to be 2 silver, please. And you each reach into your pockets and you produce a single paper bill with a little strip of silver.
Actually, I have copper bills, so I'm giving her 20 copper bills.
Okay. She takes that paper, she rolls it up and says, "Thanks. Next, please."
Look around for Zephyr.
You gather up. You get back together after about 5 minutes of searching. Zeph has wandered quite some ways, so you find them and you get together and you find a little park bench to sit on, maybe?
Yeah.
Cool. You find a little edge to the market, and there is a row of palm trees and not grass, but a bed of rocks that they're growing out of. And you sit down. There's a little wooden bench right by there.
After, kind of muscling through the crowd, Astrid is, holding on to her tail because she knows how often people will step on it. And it's very fragile.
You're going to count this as a short rest?
Please.
Yes.
I didn't even think about that.
I would love to spend some hit dice while I eat all this.
Yeah. So, are you guys eating in silence, or are you chatting about stuff?
Well, silence might be...
Astrid's chowing down. She does not even care about being ladylike. Oh, we also get those 10 hit points.
Ooh, how many?
FYI. You guys get 9.
Thank you.
And also, so does 2 random passerbys, just because I can.
Aww. Astrid just smiles at a random passerby and they feel just warm
better.
and fuzzy.
Yeah, it's like they're whole... Me? You smile at this random lady passing by, and she just, her whole face lights up, and she continues on her way.
Astrid is nicer than I have ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Does Astrid like the honey yogurt?
Yes, of course. She's not super picky. She likes pretty much everything, except pickles. She hates pickles.
Or probably anything pickled?
Yeah, she doesn't really like the taste of vinegar, specifically. But yeah, she's going ham. She's dipping the bits of lamb into the yogurt and just getting into it.
You do like spicy food. Sorry, Zeph.
If she could breathe fire, she would.
Okay, noted.
I'm happy with my corn.
As you're sitting here, basically just chowing down straight away, filling up your stomachs after that long travel.
Astrid gets a smudge of yogurt on her nose.
You hear a couple of people wandering by saying, "Did you see that? Do you see that gnome? And that's the snippet of their conversation that you hear, and they disappear into the crowd after that.
A gnome?
Yeah, these two human people were walking by, and what you heard of their conversation was, "Did you see that gnome?" And they went by.
Huh. Are gnomes a common race here?
They're the offspring of dwarves and halflings
Okay.
here in Auredane.
Okay. So they happen, but like
Yeah.
they're not like a spectacle.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
no individual like fantasy race in Player's Handbook is a spectacle.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Astrid
Alright.
would just shrug that off.
All right.
If that was a plot hook you were dangling in front of us.
That's just something that happened. I'm not
Okay.
dangling anything.
We should head over to the Star Spire then.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Return the basket.
You return the basket. You
Is Mara
turn it
gonna do
out.
that mom thing where it's
Oh, Astrid wipes it off, but there's still like a little bit of yogurt, so yeah, she takes like the edge of her tunic, just like yogurt.
You give your basket back and you turn around. You make your way over towards the castle highway and head north. And it's the biggest and busiest street in the city. It runs from its north end all the way to its south end. And it is, this 40-foot wide thoroughfare with a little divider in the middle where there are other stalls and stuff. It's like two streets adjacent to one another. And you push
Is
your
the
way...
convention that people going north go one way and people going south are on the other side, or is it just a mess?
That's a
Utter
convention for vehicles, for carts and stuff, but people can just go wherever they please. You make your way along there. There are all sorts of people. There are street performers. There's a magician performing little tricks. Zeph, you are acutely aware of a lot of elves hanging out at the edge of the streets, wearing rags and sort of keeping baskets of all their belongings huddled close to them. These refugees without a home are sitting at the edge of the streets of Oma-Vel. And really, at every street corner, there's one of your own people hanging out here. Despite everything, there's just so many elves coming west from their destroyed homeland, and Oma-Vel is generally where they end up.
None of them look familiar, right?
Ooh. You only lived in your homeland for a couple of years, right?
No, there's only one elf that Zephyr would recognize.
And that would be their guardian.
Yes.
You do not see your guardian here in Oma-Vel. Whatever happened to them after they dropped you off, they seem to be firmly on the path of someone wandering the wastes, as far as you know. You continue for some ways until you get to what looks to be a major crossing. 4 streets, north, east, west, and south, all meet around a great statue in a neighborhood that you know as Queen's Crossing. There's a little sign, a little golden placard on all ends of this main street. And in the middle of this roundabout is a very tall brass statue of a woman in what looks to be ancient Valashi garb. She has heavy eye makeup, great jewelry hanging from her neck and from her wrists and from her ankles. I mean, she is queenly, and she carries a great curved scimitar in her right hand. And this statue is like 20 feet tall. And beside her is a tall elven person in clothing that looks completely foreign to you, Zephyr, from many, many hundreds of years ago, that has taken her hand in their own. And in their other hand, they carry a shield that has sort of this curving, leaf-like shape. Very traditional elven shield design.
Is there any placard or...
Yeah, you're currently about like 40 feet away from this, but there are a couple of people looking at it. There are some sketch artists drawing it, and there are some people looking at a plaque on the base of the statue.
I've
I'd
never
like
seen this
to-
statue before. I'd like to look.
I would like to look at that
I'm gonna
plaque.
roll history to see if Astrid would recognize it at all. From
Sure.
Reading books. Probably not. 9.
No, this is an unknown bit of history.
Has this made its way into any elven stories?
Oh, absolutely.
Should I roll to see if I know that story?
You're headed up to the placard anyway. Let's.
Okay.
So Mara and Zephyr, and I guess Astrid after a moment, make their way over towards the base of the statue. They peer over people's shoulders. And this plaque says dedicated 132, dedicated year 132 to commemorate the lasting peace between the people of the Valashi Empire and the Omatok Empire. Knowing this, basically all of you are familiar with this story. Many, many centuries ago, this land was split in half, east and west, with the great Valashi Empire dominating the desert, and the Omatok Empire dominating the plains to the east up to the borders of the Elven homeland. And Oma-Vel was a trade city that was settled by ambitious entrepreneurs of both empires, and it quickly became neutral ground between the often feuding, occasionally warring superpowers of this continent.
Is that year 132 AR?
Yes, that would be when the statue was dedicated.
Right.
Yeah. Both of those empires fell and crumbled long before even year 0. So it is purely a historical piece.
Huh.
And it seems to be a pretty popular place here in the city. These sketch artists that are hanging around are actually drawing people standing in front of the statue. It seems to be a nice little tourist destination.
Cool.
Beyond it, you can see the Star Spire in all of its glory. It's basically right at the almost dead center of the street that goes northward out of this square. Right next to it, and a little bit in front of it, is a tall dome with a single spire pointing out of its top and 2 spires forming sort of a gate at its east and western edges. It appears to be a temple of some sort.
Sorry, is that the entrance to the Star Spire? Is that building? Or?
It's a massive structure that is a little bit in front of the spire. I mean, the spire arises out of a massive palatial structure that just dominates the entire northern end of the city.
Are there people, like, standing in front of the...
You're like 5 miles away from this.
Oh, well, guess we better keep walking.
Yeah.
Good thing we got a snack.
Okay. You continue for some ways. You're walking down the street, and you see 2 things. I'm going to have each of you roll a perception check.
Oh.
24.
24, 11,
18.
Mara, you are full speed ahead, right down the road. You are leading the pack and moving along these smoothly paved streets. You've got the tower right in your field of vision. You're moving. Zephyr, you see that right out in front of Mara, a short humanoid creature with a tall but floppy hat. Sort of a cone that tips a little bit at its peak, and wearing these deep blue robes, has stepped out right in front of her, and she has not quite noticed him yet. And Astrid, you notice that just beyond this person, a man in a deep gray traveling cloak with the hood pulled up is holding a package wrapped in brown paper in his arms and is rushing down the street towards the spire. And Mara, you almost collide into this person were it not for Zephyr's.
Oh, sorry.
And this gnome looks up to you and says, "Oh, pardon me, I didn't look where I was going."
I didn't look where I was going.
Well, it seems we're both at fault here. I'm sorry. And he raises one tiny little hand up, and it reaches to about just shy of your waist.
Is he reaching it up to shake?
Yeah.
Okay.
You, like, bend over.
I reach my hand down to shake it.
Okay.
Bend down a little
You
bit.
stoop a little bit. Your hand just eclipses his tiny baby-sized palm, and you shake a little bit.
Actually baby-sized?
Well, a little bigger than that. I mean, this gnome is only like 2.5 feet tall, really. And he takes off his hat. He is going very gray. His curly hair is very gray. And he bows deeply, as deeply as a gnome can go, and puts the cap back on and says, allow me to introduce myself. I am Wibrig, and I am an associate of the Wayfarers Guild. I'm sorry to have waylaid you.
That's all right. I'm sorry to have almost run you over.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help but notice that the three of you look a little worse for wear. There's some blood right there.
Smudges dirt.
and with the things on your back, the armor, the weapons, the navigational accoutrement, would you, by any chance, be explorers?
We've come from Hollow Mountain. We're on our way to the Star Spire, so...
Hollow Mountain, the Star Spire, you are very important people. Are you... You're 3 of the 6, aren't you? I've heard all about you here in the city. The Wayfarers Guild is, they're nuts for the 6 of you.
Thanks?
How nice.
You're all heroes. You're famous in this city. I'm surprised no one stopped you already. I'm sorry, I need to get back to my guild hall, but please, let me give you this as a token. Come find us. It will always point back to the nearest guild hall. And he hands you a brass compass-like icon. He puts it right in Mara's hand. It fits snugly in the palm of your hand. It's quite, not heavy, but it has some heft to it.
What did he say his name was?
He said his
Wibrig.
name. Wibrig.
Spelled how it sounds?
Wibrig.
Yep.
He says, please, come by the Oma-Vel Wayfarers Guildhouse when you have a moment. I'll be headed back there. I'll wait for you. Tell your 3 friends to come along too, if that's okay. Bye now! And he zips right past you and continues going south. And indeed, as you move this token around in your hand, the north arrow does seem to swivel to point in a direction clearly not north.
Are all compasses still doing that? Or not anymore? We determined.
Whatever
it's not pointing to Hollow Mountain, right?
Whatever magnetic nonsense Hollow Mountain pulled, it does not seem to be doing that anymore. This is not literally a compass.
Okay. Astrid's been traveling the continent for about 2 years. Would she know enough about like city life to be suspicious that that gnome was like a pickpocket secretly?
Make an insight check. I think it's possible that you would know that. Yeah.
15?
15. You instinctively clasp your hands to your pockets and search for a moment and find that all of your belongings are still there.
Okay. And what about the guy with the package? How far did he get?
The guy with the package has disappeared from sight in this time.
How big was this package?
Roll a perception check and see if you can follow his movements.
24.
24.
Astrid noticed his package.
You noticed this guy duck into an alley that's heading west from here.
Okay.
So he was way north down the street and he ducked into a westward alley.
Okay.
Which does seem to be in the direction that you're headed as well.
I saw some guy. He looked a little bit shady. He went this way.
This is Oma-Vel. There are presumably rather a number of shady characters here.
I suppose, but he's going the same way we are. If he has something dangerous and he's going to the Star Spire, we should stop him.
Alright, I trust your instincts.
And Astrid clicks her heels and starts flying.
Oh, nice.
Not very high, just...
How high?
Probably like 2 feet off the ground, just to get a better view.
Okay, just sort of skimming the surface. Cool.
Yeah.
So you move along. Do you continue going north down the main street, or are you going to try and follow him
I'm
directly?
gonna, try and follow him down that alley.
Okay. Your flying speed is the same as your walking speed, right?
Yes.
With those boots?
Yes.
So you are going to rush as fast as you can down this main street and then duck into the alley. It seems to be a fairly unadorned place. There is a sewer grate in the alley. People have thrown their refuse into the alley. It all just drains into the sewers from this grating. This is pre-indoor plumbing, so people just throw it out into the streets or into the alleys. And so you can, if you want to wade through, foot deep.
I mean, I don't have to.
You don't have to. If Mara and Zephyr want to keep clean, they can continue along the main street to get towards the temple.
You guys can meet me there.
Are you sure?
I'll be fine.
We'll stay within earshot. Maybe if he comes back onto the main street, we can cut him off, but shout if you need us.
Okay.
Zeph will start moving forward, keeping an eye out for suspicious individuals holding a package.
Okay. Astrid, you make your way along this alley, and you really have no sight of this person until you get to the steps of the temple. Meanwhile, Mara and Zephyr, you make your way along the main street. This is a busy part of town. This is the Temple District. There are all sorts of high-end shops around here. People in extravagant clothing mingling with acolytes in very simple white robes. All of these white-robed acolytes keep that same pendant around their necklace, that same medallion around their neck that you do, that almost snowflake-shaped hexagonal holy symbol. Theirs, however, do not glow in the same way that yours do. And you make your way to the largest building in this district. It almost seems like all the buildings here are kind of connected on an upper level. These big battlements that create sort of a castle out of these temples. But you make your way to the main steps of that dome that you saw looming over the city earlier. And this dome is marked as the Temple of the Six Gods. It seems to be the heart of the church here in the Republic of Auredane. And Astrid, you pop out of an alleyway, and really only about 10, 15, 20 feet away from your friends. And hustling up the stairs of the temple is that person, cloaked in gray and keeping this about 2 foot tall, 1.5 foot wide package tight against their chest.
How far away are they from me?
Probably about 120 feet.
Okay, I'm gonna brush up as close as I can get and try to cast Hold Person on them.
What's the range on that?
60 feet.
Within a single round, you're not going to get 60 feet to this guy.
Are we also about 100 feet away from them?
Yeah, you're all about 120 feet away from the steps of the palace. Or the temple.
Can I make an insight check on him?
Absolutely.
Assuming we see him as well.
Yeah. I mean, if Astrid pointed this guy out to you, and yeah.
In that case, let's see.
3.
This person's going about their business.
I see the back of his cloak. It's kind of hard to insight his cloak.
Can I cast Eldritch Blast and miss on purpose? Just to stop him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So you shoot your Eldritch Blast basically at an empty patch of the stairs of the palace, the stairs of the temple, and it impacts against the rock, and you hear a little bit of as bits of the step crumble away and roll down. Ahead of the guy, behind the guy?
Ahead of him.
Ahead of the guy. The cloaked person stops for a moment, looking at the lightly smoldering crater that your Eldritch Blast has created, and turns about to seek you.
She's not exactly subtle.
Yeah, no, I mean, you've got a little wisp of pink magic floating away from your fingers.
Yeah, and she's also pink and floating like 2 feet off the ground.
Yeah, and looks at you. Their face is visible, pale skin, but that's about all you can make out from this distance. And it takes one faltering step back up the stairs, and then turns and runs. And then you notice this happen. All along the stairs of the steps leading to the temple are these statues of sort of lion-like dogs, these great dog-like beasts with a lionish mane. There are two at the top and two at the bottom. And the two at the bottom transform from stone into a faintly glowing celestial creature. And they step down from their pedestal and snarl. Yeah. So you have basically shot a gun right at the steps of the temple. And these two temple dogs, these statues, come to life and take on their full celestial form and begin to plod towards you, growling. They take on a sort of a color that is in between the tawny gold of a lion for its back half and a glowing jade green of like a Chinese lion statue for their front half. And they make their way over to you. And it growls, one of them growls through its teeth. Why do you attack a peaceful visitor to the temple?
Astrid panics. She lands and says in Celestial, I got a bad vibe from them. I thought they were coming to do harm to the temple.
The temple dog that is speaking to you bares its fangs for a moment, then turns to the other one and says, investigate that person. I will deal with these three.
They have nothing to do with this, I swear.
I think there's been a bit of a misunderstanding.
Is the dog...
Has there? Have I misunderstood that your friend cast destructive magic at the temple steps?
I'm sure she meant no harm and will apologize if such is necessary.
It turns to you.
I am sorry. I panicked. I didn't know how else to stop them. I couldn't reach them.
You have acted rashly, but I sense the goodness of your spirit, friend of the Celestials.
Astrid, bows deeply,
What brought you here to the Temple of the Six Gods?
Is he speaking in Celestial or in Common?
It is speaking to you in common.
We've been summoned.
I am speaking to her, human being. What brings you to the temple?
We've been summoned.
You have been summoned?
Yes, we were invited here by, what would his title be?
The High Priest.
Yeah, but what I call him, Lord Ashwell or just...
You might call him His Excellency.
Yeah. We've been invited here by His Excellency, Ashwell Marin. Please, we really mean no harm, and they have nothing to do with this. Please don't be mad at them.
This is quite a grand invitation. Come with me. And begins to lead the three of you up the steps to the Temple of the Six Gods, and it passes the two still stone dogs up at the top of the steps. Nick gives them a glance, and it continues on through the great main arch. There are no doors here. Mm-hmm. It steps on through, and you find yourself in a bit of a little antechamber. There are these grand tapestries that hang from the walls. There are six. The antechamber is hexagonal. 6 tapestries, one for each wall and one for each god as well. And it leads you through another door into the dome itself. And this grand dome is filled with geometric patterns of incredible detail. All sorts of colors and shapes make up this abstract geometrical representation of the night sky above. And you gaze up at them, but the staring into the patterns for too long begins to sort of make you dizzy, give you a bit of a headache. And so, as you can, you may look up, but you generally keep your eyes down for your own, just for your own good. Yeah. And the dog, which is about as tall as a human being, looks back at you and says, "Wait here. I will meet with His Excellency." And the dog plods off towards a hallway that comes out of this dome and leads to what you can only assume to be the Starspire. There are no real windows here, just all sorts of little doors leading out from the dome. In fact, as you look up into the geometric patterns, they seem to shift ever so slightly as you gaze into them. You're not quite sure what the true power of this dome is, but it's quite remarkable. There are benches lining the walls that you can sit down on and wait.
Those dog guys are kind of... I mean, they're scary, but they're really cool looking. Their tails are kind of like mine. Sorry, I got them mad at us. That was my bad.
Good to trust your instincts, but
I wonder what's going on with that guy.
the package bearer?
Yeah.
Well, if either Astrid is right and there was something suspicious about him, in which case they will presumably be grateful for warning them, or he was just delivering a package, in which case we will have made a mistake and apologize.
It's okay. I'll take the brunt of that. It really was. That was on me.
Astrid, a black cat rubs against your ankle.
Kitty!
It's jet black. Where's May?
Are we going to
Where's
use
Marzipan?
May's samples?
No, Julie wants to have an opportunity to make cat sounds.
Oh, of course.
It's about the size of a normal house cat. It's got this silky black fur and green eyes. It has a simple leather collar around its neck with a little hexagonal silver charm. And it rubs up against.
Astrid reaches down and offers her hand for it to smell.
It lifts up its nose, and it just puts its whole forehead into the hand.
Zephyr wants to cast Speak with Animals.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm gonna scoop it up.
In fact, yeah, you pick it up and it starts purring. It nuzzles its head into your elbow. Zephyr, in fact, there are a lot of these black cats wandering around this dome.
Temple cats.
Yeah.
How many can I see?
Make a perception check.
Roll for cats. Oh.
Perceive cats.
7.
18.
Zeph, you're like, there's a lot. And Astrid, you look around and you see there's about a dozen cats wandering through this football field-sized dome.
And they're all jet black.
They're all jet black cats. You cast Speak with Animals?
Yes.
Very good. Purring in cat is just purring in human, too. Purring in common. And it's just blissed out, being held by Astrid.
So Zeph will go over to the cat that Astrid is holding. Say, "Hi, friend. What's your name?"
It looks over and goes, I'm Basina.
How have I not made a note of the temple cats yet?
Yeah, I know.
Your friend is warm. I like hanging out with warm people.
I don't blame you.
Mara offers her hand for one of the other cats to sniff.
There are
If
no
any of
other
them are
cats
close
nearby.
by. Oh, okay.
Do you want to go over and try and find another cat?
Well, she'll just offer her hand for Bessina to sniff as we all fawn over this beautiful kitty.
It sniffs your hand and licks one of your fingers. Mwah.
There's a little yogurt left on it.
It says, "People don't usually pick us up. I think it's fun."
Is this blasphemous or something? Should I put you down?
I don't know that word. Meow.
Oh, also I can't.
You
talk to
can't
her.
talk to animals.
Oh. Meow.
Hi, kitty.
Why don't they usually pick you up?
It verbally shrugs its shoulders.
Okay. Zephyr wants to go around and try to learn the names of all the cats.
Oh,
And
so
sort of introduce themselves and try to have some conversations, I guess.
there's Basina, there is Toline, Zaprin, Kolar, Jita, and you get through about those cats. When you meet up with Mara and meet Jita, the cat that she is offering a hand.
May I smell you? This is a weird human.
And when this happens, you hear a very deep purring, a rumbling. And Mara, you turn, and Zeph, I guess you turn too, and Astrid, I guess your vision is kind of following them throughout the room as you hold on to Basina. And a cat the size of a halfling approaches Mara. And it is jet black like the rest, green eyes like the rest, but it wears an ornate golden collar with a hexagonal sapphire inside the gold. And it looks up at Mara and says, "You have become quite good friends with the cats here, it seems. And you too."
In common.
In common.
Astrid's eyes are
Greetings.
practically about to pop out of her head. She's never met a talking cat before.
You just like rush over there.
Yes, and she's just like still holding Basina.
Yeah, and Zephyr, you can hear in the distance, Basina says, "Slow down, please."
Are these your children?
They are not my children by birth, but they are all my children.
Who are you?
I am Latara. I am the temple cat.
The temple cat.
The temple cat, yes. My children and I reside here on the upper levels for the most part. It seems as though you are all cat lovers. And yet, you are not so superstitious as to avoid picking them up and snuggling them.
She was just so nice.
They are all very sweet. I would say most people who follow the dogma here would consider it very, very poor manners to pick up a temple cat and treat it like a common house cat. But that's only superstition. Did you notice the dog that came through here?
Yes,
The
I'm
temple
not very
dog.
friendly. They're very mad at me.
They led us here.
Yes, one of them did lead you here. Did you see the other one?
They went looking for somebody else.
It casts its gaze down at the ground and sniffs the ground for a bit and walks around you and says, "The temple dogs are not on very good terms with me usually. We're a bit prickly. But I say this, meaning no ill will towards the dog that came in here. I am concerned about the person it was following. It had an evil aura about them,
I was right.
especially the package in its arms. Would you follow me, please?"
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
I realize the futility of this, but I do want to insight check the cat.
Yeah, insight check the cat.
Zeph tries to have time to say bye to every cat
Oh.
personally.
Do I have to put Basina down?
Basina says, and Zephyr understands, "Where are you going? Can I go with you?"
Basina wants to come too.
Can I take her with me? She wants to come with me.
Latara the Temple Cat looks over and says, "This will be a learning experience for her." "All right, come, Basina, come with us." And she says, "I hope you have weaponry on you," and leads you towards one of the many doorways leading out of this dome.
I got a 19 on insight, by the
Insight?
way.
She is a being devoted to this temple.
I was about to say, do not tell me you made an evil cat.
No, I wasn't thinking that she was evil. I was just trying to get a little more of a read on her.
Astrid tucks Basina into the hood of her cloak, and so she can like still stick her head out over her shoulder.
Is Basina a shoulder cat?
Basina like yowls a little bit, meow, and just like her claws dig into the cloth around the back of your neck a little bit, and it feels a little sharp, but she's fine. She's huddled up in your hood. And Latara looks over every now and then just to make sure that you're following. You there? Good. You still there? Good. And you make your way across the dome. Some of the cats look up at Zephyr and say, goodbye. Later. Most of them are just sort of like sleeping underneath benches and stuff, and they open one eye and just like... and eventually you make your way to a staircase that spirals downward. And Latara says, "You're okay with enclosed spaces? It gets dark and stinky down here."
Stinky?
Yes.
Is this where Latara keeps their litter box?
Do we have to scoop the litter box? Is that
Was that the package?
Do we have
Fresh
to?
litter
I
for the
sense an
temple
evil
cat.
Do we have to scoop some holy shit?
And getting no actual replies, she just turns about and continues down the stairs.
Okay. I mean, I guess we'll live.
Are there any torches or lights or anything?
No.
Astrid casts light on her amulet.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And it shines forth a orb of light, and you make your way downstairs, down, down, down. And Latara the Temple Cat has guided you into what can only be called a catacomb. And...
and the DM shrugs.
You have descended about 50 feet into the earth, all the way down the staircase. It's like 5 stories, 5 flights of stairs spiraling downward. And it lets out in a hallway, and there is a thick, musty, almost septic scent in the air. And she says, "I don't mind it much, but the humans that come down here say that there is probably a sewer passage that goes through these catacombs." She's walking down the hall, talking as you follow, and she says, "There's a lot of city down here. In fact, this temple was built on top of an old pagan one a long time ago. All sorts of weird things down here, idols to demons and the like. It's usually kept locked up, but somehow our little visitor managed to get all the way in here. I'm surprised the temple dogs didn't realize that the power of the idol he was carrying in his arms." And eventually you come out on a landing. It is a long rectangular area, and just beyond is a river of sewage that is nearly 20 feet wide, and from wall to wall, lengthwise, probably about 60 feet long.
Mara pulls her scarf up to breathe through it.
And there is a chamber beyond, like the upper half of a hexagon. And in the middle of it is an altar, a rectangular altar that looks like it hasn't been used for many, many years. It's covered in dust. It has a tarnished candelabra on top of it with candles that look like they've been recently lit. And in the center of this altar is a small idol. Very simple, made of clay. And it bears an eerie, just a slightly unsettling face. It looks like a hunched creature. And on either side of the idol, there are two chipped and cracked statues of temple dogs. It looks like they were in the process of being chiseled into their statue-like form. There are hammers and workman's tools all around this chamber. And the cat says, "That idol, that is what he brought in here. Some sort of demonic presence. I would be quite happy if you were to rid this place of it. Smash it."
I'm gonna, I guess, insight check the statue, or maybe an arcana check.
It's about 50 feet away from you. You think you want to get a little closer.
Okay, I'll fly over the river and look at it.
Okay. You fly over the river towards the altar.
I would like to also fly over the river and keep close to Astrid.
Cool.
Is
your
there anywhere
wings
where
extend and you fly over.
there's a bit of a bridge over the river?
There are two old, cracked, and crumbling pillars on either side of you right now, on this side of the stream.
As if there had been a bridge?
No, like, they're tall columns that support the roof.
As if you could knock one over and walk across it.
Oh. I knocked on the roof. Is there anything I could tie, like, try to grapple a rope onto?
With a 16 strength, what's carry weight?
I believe it's times 10 of your strength score, so 160 pounds.
Mara probably weighs a little more than that, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, there are these columns over here that you might be able to push over, but other than that, there is no visible way of crossing. It looks like there was...
Columns of stone aren't trees. But,
No.
yeah.
It looks like this sewage isn't even supposed to be here. It's sort of carved a channel through over years and years of being flooded here. It's only like 4 feet deep. Astrid and Zephyr, you get up right next to this altar, and as you do so, the stone eyes of the idol that have been placed upon it flash red, and the tongue lolling out of its mouth begins to lick around and move. And you hear a voice in your mind say, "What are you doing here? Get away from me! Don't touch me! I don't like the smell of this one. Hey, dogs, wake up! I've got something I need you to do." And the unfinished temple dogs, their eyes flash red, just like the idols, and they begin to. The stone around them begins to crumble. They rise slowly and haltingly. They look a little unfinished and sloppy, but they begin to snarl and look dead at the two of you. The Latara, the cat, looks over to you and says, "That's what I was afraid of." Oh, and it killed its master. And you look over at the other side of the altar, and the man who brought the idol in has the front of his face has melted.
Ooh.
It is just this uncanny, featureless expression.
Like a blank mannequin?
No, it's like there are features, but they have been grotesquely melted, like a chocolate bunny that gets a hairdryer in its face.
There's videos of that.
Oh, okay. I thought you just came up with this analogy. Like,
Sort of an odd one to pick, but
very
okay.
weird, eerie videos of just like a pastel background with a matching hairdryer just melting a bunny.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Is that what you do for fun? Anyway.
I didn't take this video.
How wide is this river of sewage?
It's 15 feet wide.
I thought it was 20 feet.
Yeah, you definitely said
I
20
said almost 20 feet.
Oh,
And I can jump a number of feet equal to my athletics
score.
Strength score.
If
You said
have a
15 feet wide?
Yes.
Oh,
if
so
you have a 10-foot running start.
Is there enough room for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can easily do that then.
Well, it's still it's not a jump I do every day, but I can probably do it.
Okay. The idol looks over to you, the two of you, and says, listen, I've got my dogs on you. Let's cut a deal. You turn around and walk away and forget you ever saw me, and I won't kill you and melt your faces off. How does that sound?
No.
Quick DM question. Are there any finesse weapons that do smashing damage?
Bludgeoning? I don't think so.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, not that I can think of.
I mean, you could use the hilt of a dagger, maybe, but
I mean, yeah, because you're bludgeoning things, right?
it's not finesse.
Strength.
I guess, yeah. Astrid summons her sword and then tries to, smash it.
All right. Roll initiative.
Hey, nat 20.
Nat
Astrid
20.
has been a dumb asshole this game, and I...
Nat 20!
See, all this
I have never
How's
seen
that for you,
happen.
Matt Lillard?
I haven't seen that ever. Not in my games, not in any game I've ever watched. All players. Okay, what's your initiative bonuses?
3.
Okay.
Oh, I have advantage on initiative.
What are you talking about?
My initiative bonus is a 2.
So is mine.
Roll off.
I mean, just whoever wants to go.
Who wants to go first? Mara is up.
Okay.
I'll go first since I'm already there.
Okay. That's goofy.
Well,
Is that a 7 or a 1?
That's a 7,
Okay.
but this statue has a +5 to dexterity, so...
it
doesn't
only
have
a
feet.
+5. Well, we all rolled
Yeah, how does it have a +5 to dexterity? It's a little, dancing wind-up statue?
That's a very good question. Kobold Press, answer this.
The statue can also melt faces, so...
Kobold Press,
I'm not judging.
explain!
And the doggies have 12 plus 2, 14.
That tongue is silly.
The tongue is very silly.
It reminds me of me, honestly. I'm always sticking my tongue out at inopportune times.
All right, combat has begun. You've prepared to attack, and we're going to go to break. We'll see you right after. Later. Hey folks, welcome back to the middle of the episode. I'm sure you know the drill by now. I'm going to talk to you real quick about some books from our sponsor, Kobold Press, while everyone else is away on break. I won't take up too much of your time, but these are some things that I think every role-playing gamer needs to have in their collection. The first book I want to talk about is one that you should be very familiar with by now, the Tome of Beasts. We've actually got 3 Tome of Beasts creatures in this episode, though Latara, the Bastet Temple Cat, which I've adapted for the Worlds Apart setting, is not going to be a combatant. She's not going to turn traitor on the party members. I'll just promise you that right there. Today we've got the Idolic Deity and the Temple Dog, which in this case is a corrupted celestial. And I think they're going to have some pretty cool abilities that you'll see in the second half of the episode. It's going to be great. I also want to talk about the Creature Codex real soon. It is another giant monster book from Kobold Press. It's just about as big as a Tome of Beasts, and it's just as good. I did some work on it. Some of my best friends in the industry did work on it. It's really, really good stuff. You got to check it out. And in fact, you'll probably be seeing some Creature Codex monsters in future episodes of Worlds Apart, so keep an eye out for that. And the last book I want to talk about today is one that isn't even out yet. There is a Kickstarter called Tales of the Old Margrave, or a Kickstarter for a book called Tales of the Old Margrave that's on right now. It's on its final week right now, and Kobold Press has already bashed through some really incredible stretch goals that has filled the book with adventures, monsters, even new player options. It's an adventure book first and foremost, but hey, it's all about adventuring in an ancient and mystical forest, and you got to have some some new monsters and player options for that sort of thing. So go ahead, take a look at the link in the description. You'll find links to the Tome of Beasts, the Creature Codex, and to the Tales of the Old Margrave Kickstarter. And you just got to check those books out. Kobold Press makes amazing stuff. And I'm not just tooting my own horn because I write for them sometimes. It's some of the best quality stuff you're ever going to see in an RPG product. While we're here, I want to talk really quick about the Worlds Apart Patreon. Without Patreon and without your support, this show wouldn't be happening. So if you're watching this right now, go ahead and please support us on Patreon. Just throw in just like $1 if you can to our little tip jar. And we will use it to get better cameras, microphones, music, art, books, you name it. All of this is going directly to helping make the show even better. And if you just don't have the money to do Patreon, I totally get it. Another way you can help support the channel is to, and I know it sounds dumb and YouTubey, but like and subscribe the video. The algorithms love that stuff. Alright, let's get right back into the action. Let's get into this fight. I know I've left you on a dreadful cliffhanger. Let's get right back into it. Peace. Combat begins. Astrid, you've won initiative. The layout of this arena is you are currently in a chamber that is the shape of half of a hexagon. 3 angular walls wide. The flat edge that you are on right now, adjacent to the river of poop, is about I think I said it was about 60 feet long.
Yeah.
And so basically along that river's edge.
So this is where the river of poop is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's an octagon, but pretty close.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but that's where the river is. And those temple dogs are on the left and right of the altar that is kind of in the center of that chamber.
Okay.
You better not sick another black ooze on us. You better not make that noise about it.
All right, Astrid, it's your turn. What's up?
I'm going to try and squash the idol with my sword.
Okie doke. You bring down your magic blade. Make an attack roll.
10.
It comes right down on top of its head, and it seems to bounce off of it, vibrating in your arm as if it were made of rubber or something else. It seems to have repelled off some kind of magical field surrounding it.
Don't like that. I'm going to try again.
Uh-huh.
Hey! 26.
That strikes true. So you bounce off, you twist the blade around, and you jab it in. Roll damage.
8. Plus... Yeah, no, 8.
8. Your magical blade cuts through its damage resistances. And you nick its ear, cuts a little groove along it, and it sticks its tongue out and goes, "Hey! Listen! I just want to conduct my foul dealings in peace." Alright, fine. Play hardball. Zephyr, it's your turn.
Don't we all want to conduct our foul dealings in peace? I'm going to take out my sword. I'm going to first try to slash it with Flame Tongue, and then I'm going to try to bash it with my shield.
Excellent.
So you
Sword!
activate the fire?
Yes, that's the bonus action, so I do it.
Cool, you ignite your blade.
15.
To hit? Nope. Just...
Shield. Worse.
So you're just battering this idol around, and you just like keep bashing it, and it feels like it's got an incredible mass on its lower half. Like it's just barely scooting across the altar as you lay into this thing.
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
You gonna do anything else, Seth?
I'm right next to Astrid, right? Then no.
Okay. Mara, it's your turn.
I would like to rage.
Cool.
And Mara pulls her scarf, takes a deep breath through her scarf, and gets a running jump and leaps across the river of poop.
All right. Yep. You get a running start, and whoo, you sail over. And Latara looks at you as you hit the ground and say, "Hey, you got the makings of a good cat."
My dogs would disagree. And upon landing, Mara lands, skids forward a little bit, pulls out her axe, and I'm going to attempt to slam it down on the idol.
Okay.
And I'm next to Zephyr and Astrid.
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to reckless attack.
Cool.
That's a 20 non-natural.
Oh yeah.
And second attack, a more than that, 23.
Right on.
10 plus 8 is 22, plus 6 is 28 damage to it,
28
but
damage.
non-magical.
Yeah, you begin to cleave into its soft, clay-like form, but somehow it's as if the clay hardens as your axe begins to dig into it. Only takes 14 of those damages.
You gotta get that axe enchanted.
I know.
It is the temple dog's turn. They yelp and snarl as they approach, and let's see here.
Is Basina secretly magic and badass? Is she gonna does she get an initiative roll?
No. She acts on your initiative.
If she does anything other than piss in my cloak.
The temple dogs are going to run at Astrid and one at Zephyr, and they're going to make a rushing slam. So if the temple dog moves at least 10 feet straight towards the target, which it is, and then makes a slam attack against that target, which it will make an additional slam attack against a second creature within 5 feet of the first target as a bonus action. So it's going to go Astrid Mara, Zephyr Mara.
Well, I would like to impose my protection for that.
Against Astrid?
For Astrid.
Okay, so the first temple dog, going after Astrid, it has disadvantage on the roll. Well, one of them was a 20. So, instead, that is merely a 15 to hit.
I don't have my mage armor on, so that does hit.
Okay.
Oh, well, at least it was
However,
Do you not have that invocation that means you can cast mage armor for free?
I can cast it without spending a spell slot, but it still takes an action.
Okay, so what
I just thought
are
you'd
you
done it
doing
this
right now?
morning.
You're hellish
Wait.
weeping?
Yeah.
Okay.
It lasts for 8 hours. Mage
Oh,
armor.
yeah. It would have been on during the fight, so it's still on. So never mind, the 15 doesn't hit.
Okay. So it made a slam attack. It does not have to hit. So here comes the bonus action against Mara. It has advantage because of your reckless attack. That's gonna be 19 to hit.
That hits.
And that's going to be 17 bludgeoning damage, and you're going to need to make a strength saving throw.
Well, I have advantage on that. That is not 20.
Yeah, 20, cool.
Or not a nat 20, a non-nat 20.
Non-nat 20. So it attempts to bowl you over with its size, but you manage to stand firm.
And how much damage was that again?
17.
Halved to 8.
Yep.
Okay.
And here comes the first one. It's Zephyr. Nat 1. And here comes at Mara, its second slam attack. Both are 8 plus 7, 15.
That meets. I don't have my shield up.
Oh, okay. So you're going to make another strength save. And take 18 damage.
Ooh, I rolled double 5s.
So first, take that 18, cut to 9.
Okay.
And now it is going to knock you prone and push you 5 feet.
Jesus.
Into... Oh, you're not actually adjacent to the river of poop right now.
No.
But it's going to push you 5 feet back. And as part of that same motion, it's going to move into the same spot.
Yeah.
You rolled 5s.
Oh!
Plus...
Wait, I rolled 5s.
8.
Plus 8.
Plus 3.
Plus 3.
Which is...
Which is 16.
Then nothing happens.
So, Mara starts skidding, but Zephyr's shield supports her.
Oh, nice. The shield is right in your back.
Yeah.
Is your shield spiked? It's not spiked, is it? Okay, good. Very good. That was the dog's turn. It is now the idol's turn.
You're welcome.
And,
Moral of the story, I should always add my bonuses to strength saves, even when I roll double fives.
and the idol is going to fly 30 feet upward.
I would like to make an opportunity attack.
Can I do that too?
Yeah, I mean, if
Well,
you all have reactions, you can make
Hellish
opportunity
Rebuke
attacks.
is a reaction, isn't it?
Only
Oh.
if I get hit.
Oh, yeah, and you didn't get hit.
Right.
Right.
So
So
it's
I
gonna-
can't, because I used my reaction.
Oh, to protect, yeah.
But I will attack, and you have advantage on your attack because I am raging.
The pack leader.
Eh.
Hey, I rolled a nat 1 and a nat 20.
At 20.
Yummy.
I missed.
Okay.
Big money, no whammies. Do I only add my proficiency once?
You never add your proficiency to damage.
Or 1d8 plus 4?
And 4 being your dexterity.
Dexterity plus the +1 for being a magic weapon.
I knew that.
There we go. Yeah, you only had static numbers once.
Okay, so that's gonna be 10 damage.
10 damage. Your magical rapier grazes its tummy, and it goes, "Hey! Listen, I'm starting to get real pissed off about all this goody-goody two-shoes magical fighting going on." And it's now 30 feet up in the air, and says, "So how about you try this on for size, pretty girl?" And it is going to use its Seduce the Righteous trait. You're going to have to make all attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks with disadvantage till the end of your next turn.
And I don't get to resist that at all?
And as it goes up, as it's flying up, it's going to raise its arms, and it's going to sock Mara in the face twice.
I thought it was 30 feet in the air.
Well, it's as it's going up in the air.
Okay.
And it is going to make 2 slam attacks against Mara. That had advantage 15,
Neat.
and 1 more. 16.
Yes.
So you are going to take... Woof. You're going to take 16 bludgeoning damage in total,
Okay.
cut in half,
Yeah.
and then 36 psychic damage as its fists screech into your mind with demonic evil.
Yikes.
You hear a terrible voice. Yeah, so you can just hear its cackling going through your mind. Its tongue is lashing about in its face. It's going to put its hands together in a mocking imitation of prayer and just float 30 feet in the air.
Ow.
Okay. It is now Astrid's turn, back to the top of initiative. Your attacks,
Beautiful.
saves, and ability checks are at disadvantage. Oh, no, sorry. I choose one of those. Your attack rolls are at disadvantage until the end of your next turn.
Cool. And since I'm next to Mara, it's just gonna cancel out.
Mm-hmm. It is 30 feet.
It's
distant
creatures
from you.
within 5 feet of me that you have advantage on. But if you cast something that requires a saving throw, it
I
won't
also
affect that.
can fly, so I can just
Oh,
get
yeah.
it. Oh, but it has to be next to you.
Yeah.
Never mind.
There are dogs next to you.
Yeah, but I want to kill the evil thing.
Fair.
Let's see. I always forget that, like, most of my attack spells are cantrips, obviously. Can you give me a dex save?
A dexterity save on the idol?
Yeah.
Yep. Are you casting a spell?
Yeah?
It says, "Oh, no, little lady. The magic powers of goodness don't have much effect down here in hell." You're going to need to make a wisdom saving throw.
Fuck that noise.
You'll have +3 on that from Zephyr.
Nat 20.
Now, 20. It exudes this mental pressure. It's like a wave of cold water is washing over you, but you push through it, and your spell goes off,
Nice. Did I get
counteracting
that?
its apostasy aura.
Dex save?
The dex save.
And you don't get +3.
It does have a +5 to dex. 14.
What's my DC?
Almost certainly higher than that.
16, thank God. Tasty. 10 damage.
What did you do to it?
I cast Sacred Flame, so it took 10 radiant damage.
Nice.
Tell me if I resist it to radiant damage.
What are you dogs doing? Stop her! Stop her! It is Zephyr's turn.
I'm gonna fly
Wait,
up
hold
to
on.
the guy.
Using my motion.
Mm-hmm.
I want to fly so I'm higher than the dogs can reach me, but not level with the thing.
Okay, the
Any
dogs
chance
will make
you
opportunity
wanna
attacks
use
against
your
you.
bonus action? Oh, do you not have any left?
I only get them after a long rest.
The dogs are going to make opportunity attacks at you as you leave their reach. First one is going to bite you.
Rude.
And that is going to be a 13 to hit.
Nope.
The second one is going to try and bite you also. 12. That bite would have really ruined your day. Okay, so Astrid, you are how many feet off the ground? Like 10
How
feet?
tall are the dogs?
I mean, they're...
They're like 5 feet tall, right?
Yeah,
Then yeah, I'm about 10.
like 15 feet
yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
so they can't just like fall.
Yeah.
Cool, 15 feet off the ground. That brings us to Zephyr.
Zephyr is going to try the same thing again, flying up.
Okay.
And now I don't take the attacks. Thanks, Astrid.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So...
Going up to get right in the face of this dude.
Right in the face of
I
this
forgot to add
obnoxious
4 to that
dude.
damage.
I'll add.
Sword!
Tasty.
Okay.
It
That
is-
is...
Mhm.
Oh,
No, go on.
no, you.
Oh, it is bloody because of that extra 4 damage.
Go with that.
23 to hit with
To
the sword.
hit with your sword, and it is enwreathed in flames. Yes, that is a hit.
And the shield does not hit, but that's still...
Tell me the fire damage separately, please.
Okay. So it's 9 normal damage and 9 fire damage.
So it yelps. The fire seems to be melting its clay-like form. It
Nice.
takes 18 fire damage and 9 natural slashing damage. So that's a total of 27.
I like the idea it's like firing it and then it's brittle and easier to break.
Yeah. It is really not looking hot right now. I mean, it's looking hot, but wounded.
And that's all I can do. I'm done.
Okay. Which brings us to Mara.
Yeah. So I have these 2 dogs next to me.
Yep.
Okay. I am going to attack whichever one of them looks uglier.
And neither of them have been wounded yet. There's one
That was a
was-
subjective.
Got it.
Yeah, that was subjective. First attack is a 17.
Hit.
Second attack is a 16.
Hit.
Cool. That will be 28 slashing damage.
Up to 14, I'm afraid.
Ugh. And that is my turn. How high up did you fly, Zephyr? Oh, you flew all the way to
30.
attack it, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm right face to face.
Yeah.
Cool. It is the dog's turn, and one dog is going to leap at Mara and try and bite
Oh,
her.
sorry. Bonus action, activate my shield.
Cool. Both dogs are going to try and bite you. That's going to be a 17,
That means.
and the other one's going to be 25. So its bite, first of all, is going to deal... It's going to be 26 physical damage between
Okay.
piercing and bludgeoning.
So have to 13.
Mm-hmm.
So that is... brings me to 19.
So it has hit you with its paws, bit into your side, and you are grappled in its jaws. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
17.
Okay, you are fine. The other dog is like looking at you as if trying to bite onto you as well, but since you're grappled in the other dog's jaws, it is instead just going to smack you with its big old paw. That is going to be an 18 to hit.
That hits.
And you're going to take 18 bludgeoning damage.
Have...
Jesus.
Okay. I'm still up.
All right,
Get that thing down quickly.
It is the idol's turn. And it is going to look at Astrid down below and Zephyr right next to it, and it's going to say, you're even more righteous than she is. Look at that shining armor. It now is beginning to melt away because of the heat of your blade, and says, any chance you could put that little thing away? I really don't want to have to deal with that fire. No, not getting through to you. No
It's
words.
not my turn yet.
You don't get me? Okay, fine. Fine, little buddy. It is going to use its Seduce the Righteous to impose disadvantage on your attack rolls now, and it's going to smack you with its little fists. Ooh, that is well over 20. And that is going to be 22.
Yeah.
So you're going to take 9 bludgeoning,
Okay.
followed by 8 bludgeoning, so a total of 17. And then and 43 psychic damage.
Jesus!
Its evil demonic howling is tearing through your skull.
Okay.
And now it's my turn.
And now it's Astrid's turn at the top of initiative.
I'm gonna magic missile. That little bastard.
Alright, how many missiles?
It's like mostly dead, right?
It's really wounded.
Okay, I'm gonna send 3 at it and 2 at each dog.
Cool. 3 at the idol first.
$12 damage.
How do you want to do this?
Um,
Can I say that? Your
How would you like to be doing this?
How would you like to execute this, KO?
So your force bolts shoot through it, destroying the idol. How do you destroy it?
Astrid's gonna shout in Celestial, "Suck on this!" And like reach into her cloak and pull out 3 stars and just hurl it as if they were
Cool.
ninja stars.
Cool.
And then she's gonna kind of twist in the air and shoot 2 at each dog.
Nice. Roll those.
First one takes 5, 6.
6. That's one Mara hit.
Yep. Second one takes 7.
Cool. So these stars shoot through the idol. First through its big old tummy. And it goes, ugh, hey! And then through its funny little hat. Boom! And like, I need that hat! And then the last one goes through its pig-like nose. Boom! Leaving this big hole in its head. And its lolling tongue flicks for a moment and says, that wasn't fair. And the clay pops, sending a shower of wet rock everywhere, and this wraith-like shadow demonic form shoots out of the idol and snarls, curls its wings around its form, and gazes right at you, Astrid, and then spirals as if being sucked down a drain. And disappears from sight.
Good riddance.
The dogs look about, still overshadowed by the evil magic of this demon.
Okay, then as my movement, I'm gonna not deactivate my boots, but just drop right onto one of the dogs.
Cool. Nice.
How much damage does it take?
You are 15 feet up.
Yes, and Astrid
so
weighs
you are
150 pounds.
Right. You are each going to take a d6 of bludgeoning. You each take 1 damage.
What? Rude.
It is Zephyr's turn.
So Zephyr will drop right behind the one that is holding Mara in its jaws.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mara's like holding her axe with 2 hands, trying to get an angle to pull the dog off.
and make 2 attacks with the sword.
And you have advantage.
Well, that could have gone better. One's a 10,
No.
and the other's a 15.
That's an exact hit.
Well, at least there's that. And you know what? I am going to Divine Smite.
Very nice.
At Well, why not? I'll just do it at 3rd level. I'm not going to use those other spell slots.
No healing then, I guess.
Lay on hands.
I don't think he has any left.
Oh,
They don't have any left.
We've just done a great
that.
service for this temple. They're gonna heal us.
I have one more spell slot. It's just not very high.
Yeah, go for it.
It's not a fiend, is it?
No, it's a celestial.
Didn't think so, but that's okay.
Some celestial.
Well, it's been demonically corrupted, but it is a celestial.
So that's it. And
I hope we
then,
get to meet a Kyrian.
Ooh, yeah, that would be
I
great.
love those.
There's stats for him in Volos, so.
so 4 slashing damage,
Okay.
9 fire damage,
Okay.
and 16 of the radiant damage.
Very nice. It is bloodied. Okay. Mara, you can use your action to try and break this grapple.
Yes. Can I try to break the grapple and throw it away from me?
You can push it like 5 feet away from you.
But I can't rip it off and throw it. Be pretty cool.
It's a big
You can try and make
stone
another
wall.
strength check afterwards if you want. Sure.
So for strength check to break the grapple,
Or dexterity, your choice.
I'll pick strength. That is a strength check. Yes.
Yes.
23.
Yeah, you pry open its jaws and leap out. Go ahead and make an athletics check to try and throw it.
Throw
away.
it. Or a strength check.
An athletics check. Is that worse somehow?
Well, it's a nat 20. Because I have advantage on strength checks while I'm raging.
Well,
Although the plus-
it is a strength. It's a strength athletics check.
Oh. Well, I got a nat 20 anyway, so that's a nat 20 plus 8.
Cool.
Can I
So-
throw it in the river of poop, please?
Yeah.
Do I technically get an attack of opportunity as it leaves my friend?
Force
No.
movement.
It's force movement.
Unfortunately.
You throw this human-sized dog, and it splashes in the poo river.
Now that's
And takes a
holy
bunch
shit.
of falling damage? No.
It is Latara's turn in combat, and she looks up and says, "Good. Thank you for getting rid of that thing. That is what I could not do on my own. Now, these dogs and I," and it looks towards the dog in the Pooh River, "we may have had our differences in the past, but let's see if we can get this grip on your mind." And a spell is going to go off, and she is going to cast Sleep upon these dogs. She's going to cast it at 2nd level, which is 68. The dog in the Pooh River is going to fall unconscious.
It's not still in the Pooh River, right? It scrambled up onto the
It's
bank.
at the edge of it. It has
Okay.
like its paws there, and it's going to go and just drift off into the sewage.
I kind of feel bad about
Yeah,
that.
I know. I was thinking about pulling it out. Mara is
It'll
a
be
dog
fine.
lover.
And Latara says, "That should keep it out of your hair for a while. When it wakes up, it should be better."
Sure hope so.
It is now the dog's turn. The dog is going to try and bite Mara.
Protection.
Thank you.
I rolled 2 2s. Its jaws clamp around your shield and it goes.
No, it's funny that you rolled 2 2s. Because
Why?
we are right next to Pooh River.
Astrid,
Still
you
fighting.
are up.
Astrid scrambles to her feet. Can I get a good sense of how hurt this dog is?
About bloodied.
Okay. I'm gonna cast Guiding Bolt.
Ooh, nice.
If it's next to me, you have advantage.
Even if it's not a melee attack?
Oh, right. Never mind.
Damn me and knowing the rules
I
of
know.
this game.
Hey!
19 plus
Oh, yeah.
a lot. So that's gonna take 8d6 radiant damage.
Wow.
I have enough.
Oh, well, okay.
Oh, yeah, it's d6.
Oh. Right.
Thank you, though.
You're welcome.
And I get to add
spell
4.
slots. Yeah. That's from an invocation, right? That you add your charisma.
No,
It's a
it's
class
just,
feature.
yeah.
Oh.
It's just because I'm holy.
Oh, right. When you deal radiant.
10. Oh, that was a 4.
23 radiant damage.
Wow.
And the next attack on it has advantage. Regardless.
Yeah, it is wounded. That golden light around it is not nice. Zephyr, your turn.
I think we're just gonna do some more of the same. It seems to be working out.
Gonna smite that bad boy.
Well, more or less. Your thing is still up, right? So I have advantage.
You have advantage because of the guiding bolt,
Regardless.
but yeah.
Yeah, like even if you cast a spell, you would have advantage.
There's advantage 12 ways to Wednesday on this dog.
Okay. 10, 11.
Oh, bolt miss.
No, that was...
No, 1.
Oh, 1 miss.
The other 17 plus.
Oh, got it. Yeah, that one hits. Is that your sword or shield?
This is the sword. 6 fire damage and 4 slashing damage.
Right on. Mara, your turn. Yeah, your turn.
Okay, so one dog has floated off in the Pooh River.
It's just snoring.
Well, at least it isn't drowning, I guess.
I mean, it's made of stone, technically.
It's made of
true.
stone, but it's
does it transmute into a
well,
flesh
it's
creature?
floating buoyantly on top of the river because it's an angel. It's like lighter than air.
Okay, fair enough.
Sure. I'm going
Lighter than poo, anyway.
Let's not talk about the buoyancy of, you know.
Anyway, I'm gonna attack
Moving
the
right
dog. Yeah. I wish I could do something other than just try to beat it up and knock it out, but I am just gonna try to smack it with the flat of my axe, basically. Okay. First attack is 12. Second attack is 11.
Okay. Dog turn. Dog turn yelps as it gets smacked by that guiding bolt, and it's gonna... Who's it closest to? It's closest to Mara, but Zephyr is right next to her.
I literally just fell out of its mouth, so...
Okay.
We're all up in its business.
It's gonna bite at Zeph.
Okay.
Have fun with that armor, bud.
Ooh, yeah, that's a hit. That's over 20.
Oh.
And so you're gonna take that big old damage. You're gonna take a total of 24.
Yeah, down.
Oh no!
No.
And it just and it takes you in its jaws and it shakes you around like a chew toy, and it goes and it throws you out of its jaws and you tumble a little bit on the floor, not into the poo river. You just tumble onto the stone floor of this ancient temple, and it looks back to Mara and Astrid with fire in its eyes. Astrid, your turn.
Let me see. Can you give me a dex save?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're going. Well, hang on this.
15?
Nope. Astrid's gonna cast Flame Strike because she's really fucking sick of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna take 5, 8, 11, 12 fire damage.
Mm-hmm.
Come back. Let's make that 16 fire damage.
Mm-hmm.
I figure it is less susceptible to radiant damage if it's anything like me. 9.
It is equally non-resistant
13.
to both of those.
Oh, well. 13 radiant damage.
So this torrent of golden flame crashes down upon it, and you hear this whoo as the dog falls unconscious, and its bright red eyes fade back to the jade green that it was before. And it's got his tongue lolling out, flat on the ground.
Astrid steams a little bit.
And Latara, over on the other end of the sewage river, shouts, "That's one way to do it! Good work!"
Zephyr's turn.
And Zeph, make a death save for me, please.
Not 20.
Oh.
You muscle through it and you wake up with 1 hit point.
Laura is like in the process of rushing over to Zephyr, ready to like make a medicine check, like bind his wounds, whatever, and his eyes open.
Oh, okay.
You are blessed by Kieva.
Where's the dog?
He's toast.
Okay.
And Latara the temple cat takes a running jump and leaps nimbly across the river and softly treads over towards Zephyr and says, "You have done something remarkable in the line of duty. Well, you all have, but you went unconscious during it." And she raises...
Mara spits out some blood.
and she raises a paw. So she walks over towards your face and looks at you with those big green eyes and puts one paw on your nose.
She boops your
Very
nose.
important question. Toe beans. How are they?
They are very cute, and they're jet black, just like the rest of her. So she squishes her paw against your nose and casts Cure Wounds upon you.
Astrid starts to cry because she's so elated that this is happening.
You regain 12 hit points.
Yay.
And she looks over at the two of you and says, "Oh, come down here. I can do this twice more. Come
Astrid
over."
kneels.
It's an honor.
And she puts a paw up against Mara's nose.
It's like a bizarre version of getting knighted.
Yeah,
And you only get 5 hit points back.
that's okay. I'm just honored.
And Astrid, she goes over, puts upon your nose and licks your cheek. And you only get 5 hit points also.
Oh well.
And she says, "Well, I don't know what that person was trying to do or why it smuggled that idol in here, but I suppose you can't question it now." She looks over at the face-melted corpse on the ground.
Maybe it had a missive?
I mean, you are welcome to look at it. I'm not touching
I would
that
like
thing.
to examine the...
I will
Person on the
assist
ground.
you in that.
Okay.
So that's a 9.
You pull open the cloak, you pop off the clasp and look at the body, and even with a 9 you recognize the armor this guy is wearing. This guy is a Godsworn that has snuck his way into Oma-Vel. It's that same familiar ring mail that the rest of them wear.
This is one of the people who's been following you.
Yes.
Well,
This is one of the Godsworn.
If there's anybody who can do anything about this, maybe the High Priest can.
Yes, please, will you take us to see him, Latara?
Oh, is that why you were here?
We
Yeah.
might have missed an appointment.
Oh.
No, this was important. I'm glad you brought us here.
Well, let's hurry back. Do you still have breath to run up 5 flights of stairs?
Sure.
I think we'll survive.
All right, come. And she hops over the sewage river and begins to scamper up the stairway.
I still have a couple,
What's a long
like a half an
jump
hour
again?
or two.
A long jump is, if you have a 10-foot running start, equal to your strength score. Feet equal to your strength score.
Okay. Strength score is 16.
Yeah.
I can make
With
it.
just a foot to spare.
Yes.
You all make it across the river, no problem?
Yeah.
You're
Good,
fine.
good.
Yeah, I still have plenty of time on these boots.
So you run out, you are dirty and scratched, but at least you're not covered in poo.
Dirtier. It's not
Yeah.
like we came in
Yeah, that clean.
cleanly.
Yeah. You make your way up the stairs and back into the main dome of the temple with its beautiful geometric patterns.
Squelch, 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 squelch.
we didn't step in the
We
poo.
did. I mean, I imagine it's kind of damp down there.
A little bit. And there are all these cats still roaming around, and the temple dog that walked you in is standing in the center of the chamber looking around. It hasn't looked at you yet.
Astrid clears her throat.
Ah, there you are. You've kept me waiting for several minutes.
Yeah, we were busy defeating a demon.
Well, I am not the one who has been waiting for you. Ashvel Marin, His Excellency, is ready to meet with you.
Should we, maybe clean up first?
He will take you in whatever condition you are in. He's a very busy person.
Okay.
Maybe we can find somewhere after this.
I mean, okay.
Okay. As you begin to go, Latara scampers up after you and says, "Wait, hold on just a moment. I feel like it would be remiss of me to not provide some sort of reward for your services. Tell His Excellency that Latara the Temple Cat vouches for you in the highest manner. Oh, and your name is Astrid?
Yes, that's me.
I heard your friend saying it during the fight. You have an unusual aura around you. Something radiant and blessed. I know you will well receive this gift." And she puts a paw on your foot, and your whole body glows with golden light for a moment, and it subsides. You have learned the angelic cantrip Benediction. It's a cantrip from the Kobold Press Midgard Heroes Handbook. It's a very nice little present for Astrid. Basically, the way this works is that... so as an action, you can choose a creature within 60 feet of you. It's concentration up to a minute, and you call down the blessing in the name of an angel of protection, and a creature that you can see within range shimmers with a faint white light, and the next time they take damage, it can roll 1d4 and reduce the damage by the same amount, and the spell ends.
That's a very appropriate Astrid cantrip.
Yeah. All right. The temple dog looks at you, it sniffs and turns about and heads off, expecting you to follow.
Okay.
Astrid's gonna check on Basina, who's still in her hood.
You look back and the cat goes, It's snoozing.
Okay. She just leaves it there.
Okay. And you go...
Because those cats can sleep through anything.
Wait, are you taking Basina?
She's asleep. We don't want to disturb her.
You head down this passageway, and it begins to... There are stairs in this passageway. Every 10 feet or so...
There's stairs everywhere.
Every 10 feet or so, there's like a flight of 3 steps, and you go up very gradually, and you curl about through this hall. There are windows on all sides of it, and there are these beautiful gardens outside. Most of the foliage you've seen so far have been palm trees, little cacti, and whatever sort of desert plants grow here at the edge of the Valachi Desert. But here, a beautiful irrigation system flows water in, and there are many colored flowers, these tall reeds that grow around here. And the dog takes no notice of these natural wonders and continues going on through the passageway until it reaches a tall door, 20 feet high, and inlaid with gold and lapis lazuli, jade, all these beautifully colored stones. And it puts a paw right in the center of the double doors, and the doors react to its touch, and they swing open, and it, boom, just continues walking. It turns back and says, "You will not be able to enter this place again without me or one of the acolytes of the Order. I would advise you hurry before it closes." He continues on.
Okay.
Astrid trots after him.
Mara strides forward.
And you arrive at the lowest level of the Star Spire. Its walls are gold. Pure, solid gold. Its floor is covered in mosaics that create spiraling patterns, and the constellation, the 3 vertical stars, are clearly visible in the mosaic along the floor. A grand staircase is the only exit, other than the one you just entered from, to this room. It is at the opposite end, and it goes out of sight all the way up. And descending that staircase is a man with light brown skin, short curly black hair, golden irises, and a very simple robe, not befitting his station. He looks at you, he clasps his hands in greeting and says, "Lightbringers, it is a pleasure to see you. The three of you."
The three of us. Our comrades. Well, we'd hoped to talk to you about that.
Very well. We can talk here.
Right. Is there anywhere to sit down?
And as soon as the thought appears in your head, 4 chairs appear in the center of the room. Please, take a seat. Gaia Stella will be with us shortly. And a 5th chair appears from the ground. He takes a seat. All the chairs are similar in design.
I wiggle one a little bit. What's it made of?
It is made of a sturdy, solid material. It is not cold like metal. It's nondescript in a way that it's as if you're sitting on hard light.
Astrid takes a seat, wiggles around a little bit to get comfortable.
Your 3 friends.
I think they're somewhere else. When we woke up after the battle, all that was there were these black statues.
You awoke at the top of Hollow Mountain?
2 days later, apparently.
Yes, we awoke after... The last thing we all remember was when I snapped Renault's staff, and I produced... Did we find both halves of it?
Just the skull.
You have the skull end.
Huh. So we found this part of the staff, but
Astrid
nothing
has it in her
else
bag.
of him... Oh yeah, Astrid has it.
Yeah.
Nothing else of him was left.
The ruby eyes of the skull head glisten ominously as you produce it. That is a dangerous artifact. Do you wish to keep it? Or shall I take possession of it for you?
How is it dangerous?
It is a magical artifact of great necromantic power. I believe that it is the symbol of Renault is a warlock, yes? It must be the symbol of his pact.
He apparently had
Which
3.
pact?
He had a pact.
3?
He had a pact with a fiend. He had a pact with an old one, and with the Archfey.
Gods above, this is unheard of. For a warlock to make a pact with 3 supernatural entities, I can't imagine the damage he has done to his own immortal being.
Well, when we attacked him, Zephyr revealed his true form.
Yeah.
Which was...
A lich.
That's what he called himself, anyway. He
Lich.
was covered with arcane magic and horribly withered and twisted.
You are aware of what that is. A person who has gained immortality through undeath by inflicting upon themselves some of the most potent hexes and curses imaginable. It is not a process that is recorded by any library. It is a dark path that one must find for themselves. If Renault is a lich...
Was a lich?
Oh no. If Renault has truly ascended to lichdom as he said, then his soul exists and his body is reforming even as we speak. somewhere in his realm, wherever that man came from, an object called a phylactery holds what remains of his soul, and it will regenerate his body.
In the legends of my people, one cannot have a soul without blood, but it seems his magic defies even that.
Well, if we're speaking of the legends of your people, his soul never was in his body. It remains hidden, secure in that phylactery. I imagine that if your legends are correct, when you pierce that vessel, it will bleed. But we did not come here to talk about Renault nor this staff. I believe that given the options between a fiend, an old one, and an archfey, this is likely a symbol of a fiend. There are some demons known to consort with the powers of undeath. I suppose this is it.
I think his name is Orcus.
Orcus. I will meditate on this. I will ask Astera for her guidance about this being, Orcus.
And our friends, as Astrid said when we woke up, it was as if they'd been transformed into black glass.
Our amulets, too, as Zeph takes the amulet out from under the chainmail.
Asheville's eyes widen as he sees this. It glows with internal light.
There were lights inside the statues, right?
Mm-hmm. Our amulets seem to reflect light inside the statues.
No,
Is that, or there's
you're right. There was a light glowing faintly from within the heart of that black glass.
that and a dream Astrid had.
A dream?
Yeah,
You did tell us about that, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I prayed to my patron, and he sent me a dream. He said, oh gosh, Celestial, it's so confusing. He told me, your loss is not forever. Seek out the golden light. Which...
The golden light.
I thought that must be the Star Spire, right?
It's certainly the golden light I'm most familiar with. But it would seem as though golden light is the hallmark of all the gods. The stars in the sky, the light around this spire, the magic that they wield, the radiant power. Well, by seeking out the golden light, you've done well to find me. Perhaps this is the first step on your journey. The Forge of Light in Black Vault is where the god of creation, Jothar, lives. The dwarves and all those who live in Black Vault revere him and his power. Perhaps you could seek out the Forge of Light. Maybe there are answers there. And indeed, though the god of dragons, Lotan Ratu, is known to live in the mountains of Arvix, that god's temple is kept secret from all. Only General Silverscale, Lotan Ratu's oracle, would know of that temple's whereabouts. I do not know where the general is at the moment, and the doors to this room slam open, and in strides a woman, tall, dressed in gleaming armor that has been scarred by 1,000 blades, with a long head of braided black hair, and light brown skin and golden eyes not unlike Ashvel's. General Gaia-Stella Maren, strides into the room and says, "But we know where I am. You are here to receive guidance. I do not know how to recall your friends, nor does my brother Ashvel. I do, however, know that when the cloud descended upon Hollow Mountain, when you broke Renault's ritual, all monsters within it were swallowed by its power and cast back to wherever they first came from. All of our own people who were caught in that blast were unharmed, save for a momentary sickness, discomfort, perhaps a bit of retching. It disagreed with them, but it did not banish them. Perhaps there's something special about your friends. The ritual sucked them in a way that it did not the others.
Our friends aren't from
Wherever the monsters
yeah.
are from, they're not monsters.
I'm well aware, but perhaps it had plans for them. Perhaps the ritual had a mind of its own.
Did the monsters leave anything behind, like statues of them?
No, their weaponry, all of their physical belongings, those remained here, but no such statues. Perhaps it's because they belong in their realm. Ashwell clasps his hands and says, "Sister, it is good to see you. Let us not waste the Lightbringer's time with conjecture. You came here with something concrete to say." And Gaia Stella nods and strides forth. She takes her seat and looks at you, puts an arm over the back of the chair, and says, "I have something actionable. Rather than simply standing around and bemoaning the loss of your friends, regrettable as it is, we can take action and find out what happened to them. Perhaps even a way to bring them back. As it stands, the war is over." And she smiles at this, pauses for a moment to let the moment sink in. "But the armies of the monsters are not routed. 3 of Renault's most trusted lieutenants escaped the Battle of Hollow Mountain. They retreated, those cowards. I think that if those lieutenants are left to their own devices, they will continue to bring ruin upon Auredane. As the only Lightbringers remaining, I think it only fair that we let you know of their whereabouts and set you to deal with them as you see fit. Our armies are still recovering from the battle. Victory though it was, a Pyrrhic one. Many of our brave soldiers' lives were lost. We're recovering from that still."
Where are they?
This is the information that espionage has revealed to us. The first lieutenant goes by the epithet of the Frost Queen. She is a fey sorceress that, to the best of our knowledge, is occupying the ruins of Bulwark, far to the northwest. General Kel Gizarm was going to lead the assault on her fortress, but his untimely demise has ruined that plan. Fear not, we are searching the shattered plains for his body. I hope to have him on his feet again within the month. If he still wishes to serve his nation, that is. The second is known to us as the Master of the Deep. He is a priest of an unknown aquatic demigod, and he is occupying the ruins of the elven homeland. I don't suppose you know what it was that destroyed your land, Zephyr.
No.
I understand. Reports from elves that we have interviewed here on the streets of Oma-Vel, those who are willing to speak with us, have said that it was the first attack of the monsters. They appeared for the first time out of thin air in their cities, and that a many-armed being emerged from the water and crushed towers like they were made of paper. I dare not speculate as to what that creature might be. The third and final lieutenant is known as the Fallen Star, and they are a flame swordsman who leads a heretical cult in the lifeless wastes of the Nortok Steppe far to the northeast.
What kind of cult?
The Fallen
The
Star.
Godsworn?
The Godsworn. I do not know that name. Ashwell, have you heard the name of the Godsworn? And Ashwell shakes his head. I have not heard that name before. And you hear a little squeak from Astrid's hood as Basina the cat stirs and peeks her head out of the hood, and she makes a yowling noise.
Oh.
And Ashwell says, "Temple Cat, what are you doing there? Come to me, little one." And Basina hops down, and he holds out his arms, and she hops in, and he raises her up to his chest and holds the back of her head, gives her a little scritch behind the ears, and says, "What is it you wish to say?" And your speak with animals has run out.
Oh, yeah, well, it ran out when I,
Started
went
concentrating
unconscious.
on something. Oh, when you went unconscious, yeah. And Basina purrs and makes a couple of chirping noises, and he raises his eyes and says, "This temple cat tells me that there was an intruder in our catacombs."
Yeah, I was just about to tell you one of these godsworns was just in your basement.
Doing what?
He planted some kind of horrifying idol, and we destroyed it.
A horrifying idol which then killed him. Your people will find his body amidst the sewers.
Godsworn. What can you tell me about them? I have no information about these people.
Some of them attacked us just outside of the city when we arrived. There was a knight in black armor, accompanied by an awful wolf creature made of ice and mist as big as a building.
A wolf made of ice and mist.
Did we hear the name?
Theulai.
From-
Theulai? Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
It was
Theulai.
called a Theulai.
Theulai. Guy Stella, have you heard of a creature like that? And she's deep in thought. When I said a heretical cult, that sparked some memory?
Oh, I've been fighting the Godsworn for a few years now, and they claim to be following the wishes of Elo.
They're despicable.
That couldn't be. Elo would never sanctify that kind of hate and destruction, so I don't know. Fallen Star could be someone masquerading as Elo, I suppose.
Elo is the god of the North Star. He wields flame, just like the champions of Elo of old, and they set upon you a wolf made of ice and mist, befitting the frigid climate of the Nortok steppe. Gaia Stella, I believe that I believe that these godsworn are our cult. And the general shrugs her shoulders and says, "It seems likely. Everything does seem to line up." These are the three options we're pursuing. I will lead the charge against one of them, and I hope that you will take up arms against the other. The third we will have to let ride. It sounds like you're interested in fighting these godsworn.
I would destroy all those who would taint the name of Lord Elo.
That is a just cause, and one I fully support you in pursuing. If you wish to go to the Nortok Steppe, if you wish to journey across the continent and destroy this cult, then go with my blessing. And Asheville nods and says, "And go with the blessing of the goddess Astera." And he affixes a sharp look at his sister.
Seems that there is much work that remains to be done.
Indeed. Though the war is over, our land is not at peace.
Might there be someone in the Star Spire who could send a message to my people?
A message of what sort?
The Valashi tribes communicate using animal messengers. The traditional postal service doesn't quite reach out into the desert.
I have the power to speak a message into the minds of those distant. Would your people consider that an intrusion?
I believe my son would be surprised, but not adverse to receiving such immediate news of the success of the battle at Hollow Mountain.
What is his name, and what is a brief appearance?
His name is Haroon.
Haroon?
He is a druid of the desert, and he looks, his of our people looks much like I do, and with close cropped hair, dark, and a always smiling face.
And what do you wish to tell him?
Please. Is he able to speak back to you? Please tell him that the armies of Auredane succeeded in their mission, and the warlock was routed. But the fight is not yet finished, and that I miss him very much, and his sister and brother, and I wish for news of how they and our people are.
Your message is longer than I can send in those words, but I shall try and condense it so that he can hear. And he closes his eyes and he steeples his fingers and says, Haroun of the Skycaller tribe, your mother is well. She defeated the warlock, but her task is not yet done. Lead in her stead. She will find you soon. He opens his eyes, looks down, waits. Your son says that he understands, that he will lead your people with all of the grace and dignity and honor that he sees in you every day. And he's a bit loquacious. He ran out of words.
He is well, though.
He said nothing specifically, but judging by his tone and his brave demeanor, I would say that young Haroun is in good health.
Thank you.
I hope you have the chance to return to your people soon.
As do I.
The North is not a forgiving place. It is a climate unlike what any of you are used to. It's upon the Nortok steppe. Snow does not fall, but it is frigid. It is blasted by icy winds, torn across by sleet that scars the skin. It is one of the lands that our Republic has never stretched its law to. We have never even dared to attempt such a feat. That these godsworn live in this desolate wasteland, it is unthinkable. It is truly a place for only the evil of mind and body. If you wish to brave its inhospitable landscape, you may wish to stop in the city of Arvix, the land of the dragons. The Order of the Dragon God will be happy to receive you. I'm sure you're familiar with General Silverscale.
Yes.
I hope that he has returned to his people. Gaia Stella looks over at you and says, last I heard he has. He's been cleaning up the camp on the Shattered Plains and has returned his soldiers back to Arvix. You'll want to make your way northeast, avoiding Broadfurrow if you can. Normally I would say that is a hospitable city-state with a great many friends, but it is occupied by monsters. You will find no helpful houses there. Only armies of hobgoblins and worse.
Understood.
So, am I to understand that... Well, and, if I recall my geography lessons correctly, the Elven homeland is to the east of Broadfurrow.
Indeed.
Is that the mission that we will be putting off?
And Gaia Stella clasps her hands and says, I have not yet decided which lieutenant my soldiers will be pursuing. It is entirely possible that I may choose to go to Bulwark instead. But when the time comes to retake the Elven homeland and shatter the monster's grip upon it, yes, reclaiming Broadfurrow will be a vital first step. Without it, we have no foothold. Our soldiers and supply lines will have to travel from Oma-Vel. Hundreds, if not thousands of miles. It is tactically unsound to leave Broadfurrow standing in the grip of the monstrous armies.
Fret not, they will be defeated.
She smiles and nods at you. It seems you are decided. Is there anything else that my brother or I can provide to you before you depart?
Perhaps some healing?
We can provide that. And Asheville stands. This is nothing. It is an easy task. And he casts Mass Cure Wounds twice. That's 10d8 of healing to all of you.
Damn.
I think that'll bring you all up to full.
Not sure about me, but it'll probably still be close.
So that's an average
Actually,
of 45.
I think that can't bring me up to full even. I'm down 95 hit points.
So you all recover 50 hit points.
Okay.
And that puts me well over full.
Yeah. This is what I can do for you. I think a good night's rest will clear the weariness from your minds.
Oh, thanks. Guys, Stella, these monsters and creatures that we've been fighting are unlike ones I've battled before. Do you find that your weapons are less effective against them?
She pauses for a moment and says, "My blade is sanctified by the goddess Astera herself. They are no match for her magic. But I have heard reports from my soldiers. Some of the greater beasts within the monsters' armies, their hides do resist the barbs and points of their spears. I see you have experienced the same."
My axe is a trusty weapon, but it seems lately it is not enough. Tomorrow pats her axe.
I understand your pain. You have a deep connection to that weapon. Are you seeking... If you're seeking an enchantment, I'm afraid that I am not able to provide it. There are wizards within the Republic who might be able to enchant a weapon, or provide you with one that is magically enchanted. I'm afraid it would be a bit of a detour. Half Moon City is where the best mages reside. And Bulwark at one point.
None here in Oma-Vel?
None of the caliber I think you're looking for. I mean, if you're looking for a simple, an axe with a magically honed edge, we could provide that for you for a nominal fee, but if you wish to have your weapon enchanted and keep it with you...
At this point, I'll take whatever I can get that will allow me to defeat these monsters.
I will requisition one for you.
Appreciated.
Send a falcon to the Star Spire with the address of where you'll be staying tonight. We'll have it delivered by morning if possible.
Right. Staying tonight.
Do you not have lodgings?
Good place to stay.
There are many inns in town. I can provide you with a recommendation to some of my favorite.
That would be appreciated. We're not natives here.
And maybe somewhere we could go clean.
Well, with a bit of an extra fee, baths and the like are provided at all of these establishments. If you're looking for something with a little bit of fun, a bit of a rough and tumble atmosphere, the Brave Alligator Tavern exists by the Western River, out by the River Villas.
We do need to visit Tico's parents.
I'm a personal fan of the Velvet Glove Inn. It's perhaps it's a bit of a higher class establishment. If you're looking for gambling and the like, this is not the one you wish to go to. And Gaia Stella raises a hand and says, it has limited lodging, but I on occasion stay at the Fifth Tower Playhouse. It has a theater attached to it that they do, and they do performances most every night.
I don't feel that I'm in the mood for anything exciting. I think
Somewhere quiet and...
the Velvet Glove sounds quite relaxing.
A little fancy for us, maybe.
But the quietest.
A place to sleep is all that I ask.
Very
Thank
well.
you both.
He scribbles down an address on a piece of paper, hands it to you, and says, I'll be sure to...
Hand it to Astrid.
Either Gaia Stella or I shall send your weapon to you here if we're able to procure it.
I'll inquire about sending a falcon.
Well, we have your address, so if you do indeed
yes.
come here, then...
Many thanks.
One more thing.
Yes, Zephyr.
I don't know if it's important, but I feel like I should tell you. Renaud, after we found out what he is, he said something that was kind of disturbing to me. He said, I am what I have been forced to be. And, I mean, it sounds like someone who goes through all the trouble to make 3 pacts and discover immortality, usually they would be more selfish.
Many selfish people justify their actions.
I mean, that's true, but it was... I don't know, it was the last thing I was expecting to hear.
Ashbel seems a little bit perturbed by this.
He also seemed aware of what he called a prophecy, right?
And there was a prophecy, and he referred to his people. And
A prophecy that we would defeat him, that he wanted to subvert.
And he has no people. He has monsters.
Those are his people, perhaps?
Both Ashbel and Gaia Stella Marin are gravely silent. Ashbel taps the tips of his fingers together, keeps his lips tight, and eventually says, I think that all evil men believe themselves to be the heroes of their own story.
I rolled 17 insight to see if they are feigning any kind of ignorance.
They are deeply concerned that Renaud imparted this information. But anything beyond that, you are unsure.
Thank you for the healing, the hospitality, recommendations, and the hope for our friends. Please tell us if you hear anything.
Blessings of the Six upon you, Mara, and I will consult with the goddess Astera personally and seek information about the fate of your friends. She does reside at the top of this tower, her mortal form shrouded in golden light. I will speak with her, and I will learn what insight she has onto whatever dark magic has affected your friends. Walk always in the light. Be safe.
Astrid bows. Can I say goodbye to Pacina?
Indeed. She will be here waiting for you next time you return, and I hope you return in good health.
You have some very loyal temple cats.
Indeed. They're all loyal to the temple cat, Latara. And Pacina hops out of Ashbel's lap and scampers over to Astrid and looks up at you.
Astrid crouches down and scratches her.
Does Ashbel's robe, is it now covered with black hair?
Yeah, there's this big black spot right in his lap. He just,
Prestidigitation.
he's a cleric.
Oh, you can't cast prestidigitation.
And he says, those lights around your neck, they are interesting to me. Some holy magic must have affected you.
Astrid looks at the scars on her palms.
I don't know what power they have, but whatever it is, they must be linking you to your friends. I hope that you will be able to meet them again soon. Fear not. I do not think they have gone from us just yet.
Thank you.
Oh, and I hear that you destroyed a demonic idol in our basement.
Yes.
Here, walk with me. And the 5 of you, both Marins and the 3 of you, exit the room and begin making your way towards the grand gates of the temple. And he waves a hand, and a bag appears in his palm, and he rifles through it, and he pulls out a roll of paper bills and says, "It seems perhaps unbefitting of a high priest to be simply paying his grand champions, but perhaps in addition to giving you something to aid you along the road, this is for your services in the basement today." And he places down a wad of gold-striped bills that total up to 6,000 gold.
Astrid's jaw hits the floor.
Mara tries to collect herself. It's like, it would be poor business to refuse such a generous offer.
Would Mara not know how much that was at first?
Mara's done business with the
Right.
Republic before, right? Like, she uses money to trade with them a little
Right,
bit.
it sounded like before you were saying that sometimes she mixes up the bills.
Yeah.
So maybe at first she didn't realize it was gold. Like, oh, it's so wait, that's gold! Oh.
I don't think, like, she really can... It's like, he could have given us 600 and she would have thought it was a lot.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You will find that things in Arvix are quite expensive. The dragon gods balance the scales in their favor quite often. But this should pay for any supplies, and I will be taking some of that back for your axe. I will deliver a bill with the package.
Very well.
Safe journeys.
Okay.
Let's get some rest.
Yes, please.
You make your way back through the streets of Oma-Vel. The little compass medallion that not medallion, but little compass token that you have on your person is always shifting a little bit inside your pocket, as if trying to guide you towards a place in the city. And eventually you make your way towards the Velvet Glove Inn, which is this 5-story building with a fairly wide footprint on the cityscape, all things considered, with these beautiful lavender tapestries that drape down from the roof, from the gables. It is this truly splendid place. Whitewashed planks on the outside with all the violet draperies. And you step in, and I think that's where we're going to end for today. Just by entering its incense-laden air, you already begin to feel a little bit more relaxed. Good game, you guys.
That was fun.
Yeah!
Warlocks can't learn spells by reading them, can they?
Not by copying them into a spell book like wizards can.
Bummer.
There are a lot. So Kobold Press has a series called Geek Magic that's largely been folded into this Hero's Handbook. And it has a lot of new types of magic, like clockwork magic, shadow magic, battle magic. And
Geomancy.
and one of the types is angelic magic. There's a bunch of new angelic spells in this book that I think you may get as, you may learn new spells out of this as rewards from your patron or from other holy creatures. Like the cat.
Yeah.
I want to get a spell from a cat.
I just want to get a spell that can summon a cat to be my friend and battle companion.
War cat.
War cat!
You can multi-class.
I could multi-class.
Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for sticking with this episode of Worlds Apart. We'll see you next week. Later.